From childhood broadcasts in South Korea to publicly sparring with Donald Trump, Norah O'Donnell's own life has been just as headline-worthy as the story she reports on CBS. Because her father was a physician with the U.S. Army, Norah O'Donnell spent plenty of time relocating to different locations with her family. When she was a child, Norah lived on military bases in Germany and South Korea. As she explained to Parade, that lifestyle taught her some important lessons about flexibility and being able to flourish outside of one's comfort zone. She said, "There is nothing predictable about being in the military, and that puts a lot of stress on families." In 2017, Norah returned to the South Korea home where she and her family lived when she was a kid. It was in Seoul, in fact, where Norah gained her first experience in front of the camera, appearing on an educational TV show in which she spoke Korean words and phrases and then translated them into English. As she said in another interview with Parade, they needed people to make those tapes and appear on kind of an English teaching television program, so I got a job doing that. After graduating from high school, O'Donnell was accepted to Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. She graduated with a BA in philosophy and an MA in liberal studies, and during her senior year, she landed an internship at ABC News. As she later told Parade, the internship led to her first print journalism job, saying, "That was really kind of like, wow, you've made it and you see your name in print." O'Donnell covered Congress for the newspaper, which focused on Capitol Hill, and also traveled throughout the U.S. to report on various political campaigns for both the Senate and the House of Representatives. In addition, she covered the impeachment of Bill Clinton. For O'Donnell, working in print journalism provided her with valuable experience, but it was also ultimately a means to an end. She told Irish America, "I knew early on I wanted to be a network correspondent."
Even as a young girl, I think I was imitating Barbara Walters. I wanted to be like Barbara Walters because she was the most powerful woman I saw on television.
That ambition would be fulfilled when she applied for a job at upstart cable news network MSNBC. O'Donnell's entry into broadcast journalism came when she was just 25 years old, when veteran TV journalist Tim Russert hired her to be a correspondent for MSNBC. Russert was not only her boss, but also a mentor. As O'Donnell shared with Parade, "He was always such a strong supporter. The first thing he would always say to me, other than good morning, he would say, 'What do you know?' That simple 4-word phrase spurred her to dig deeper, to do the extra work that would deliver scoops she could bring to him. The two also developed a friendship. In fact, it was Russert who was responsible for the name of her youngest child. As she recalled in an interview with Adweek, "And he said to me, if I'd ever had a girl, I would have named her Riley. Tim died 2 weeks before Riley was born, so I never got to tell him that we did name her Riley." Looking back, O'Donnell continued to be inspired by the support Russert gave her throughout the time they worked together, saying, "He was so great in really supporting all the journalists that worked for him. It still gives me a great deal of confidence when I think about him and the way he inspired a lot of us." While attending Georgetown, O'Donnell met fellow student Jeff Tracy. According to O'Donnell, they first crossed paths while waiting in line at the cafeteria during the first week of school. Looking back, she'd come to believe that it was the hand of fate that brought them together at such a formative point in their lives. Tracy knew he had found his future wife during that first encounter in the cafeteria line, saying in an interview for Georgetown University, "That was it right away. It took her a little bit longer to come around." Georgetown, in fact, played such an important role in their relationship that when they got married in 2001, they exchanged vows at Dahlgren Chapel, situated on the Georgetown campus. The couple started a family and in 2007 welcomed twins Grace and Henry, followed just over a year later by daughter Riley. During those years when she got married and started a family, O'Donnell was also building her career at MSNBC. In 2005, she was named the network's chief Washington correspondent. She'd also branched out from cable news to NBC, appearing as a news correspondent on the network's popular morning show Today, and was a regular panelist on the Sunday morning political affairs broadcast The Chris Matthews Show. From the outside looking in, O'Donnell appeared to have nailed it when it came to the having it all conundrum facing working women trying to balance the competing demands of career and family. As she told the Washington Post, however, it wasn't nearly as easy as she may have been making it look, recalling, "We were at a wedding recently and a friend asked me, 'How are you doing?' I said, 'I'm struggling with the balance of work and family. With 3 kids under 2, it's hard. There's no sleep.'" In fact, O'Donnell had come to believe work-life balance wasn't really achievable, observing that anyone with a demanding career such as hers would inevitably spend more time at work than with family. She went on to say, The most important thing is, are you in the moment? After graduating from Georgetown with a degree in theology, O'Donnell's husband Jeff Tracy studied to become a chef, attending the Culinary Institute of America in New York. When he returned to DC, he opened a restaurant, Chef Jeff's, which was successful enough to spawn a second location, Chef Jeff's Downtown. He went on to open more eateries under the banner of his restaurant group, Chef Jeff's Deluxe Hospitality. In 2010, the spouses teamed up for their own culinary venture, a cookbook aimed at parents with infants, Baby Love, which instructs parents how to make their own healthy, nutritious baby food. As Tracy told People magazine, "I share certain techniques in the book that teach people to be faster in the kitchen." As O'Donnell explained, she certainly understood how daunting the prospect could be given how busy parents get, but insisted that making homemade baby food isn't nearly as time-consuming as it might appear, saying, "I was surprised at how easy it was to make our own food. One day when you have an hour of free time, you can bang it out. It's simple."
We decided to write a book because I found out how easy it was to make homemade purees, and I said, we've got to share this information.
Having cut her teeth in broadcast journalism at MSNBC under the mentorship of Tim Russert, there were likely expectations that Norah O'Donnell would spend the rest of her career with NBC News. Instead, she pivoted, taking a job with a competitor. In 2011, she joined CBS News, initially serving as the substitute anchor for the network's flagship political affairs show Face the Nation, in addition to becoming chief White House correspondent. As O'Donnell told Irish America in 2014, she felt right at home at the Tiffany Network, declaring that her own style of reporting was perfectly in sync with the CBS News tradition. She said, "We are committed to original reporting, great storytelling, and hopefully we are doing the kinds of stories you won't see elsewhere." Norah O'Donnell has long integrated health and fitness into her lifestyle. Not only has this included regular visits to the gym, she is also a fervent runner, telling Runner's World, "I usually run 2 to 3 times a week and work out with a trainer once a week." That hasn't left her immune to health scares, however. In 2016, she was diagnosed with melanoma. As she wrote in an essay for Good Housekeeping, a regular skin checkup led to a few biopsies being taken. When the results came back, her doctor revealed it was melanoma. Her mind reeled, fearing the worst, until her doctor informed her that it had been caught early enough that immediate surgery should eradicate the skin cancer entirely. The surgery was successful, but left O'Donnell with a bright red scar. She wrote about her experience. "I choose to see it not as something ugly, but as a reminder that early detection saves lives. It might even have saved mine." A few years later, she was hit with another health scare when she required an emergency appendectomy. That experience, she wrote in a 2019 Instagram post, also taught her a valuable lesson: to pay closer attention to what her body tells her. As she wrote in the caption, "If you are in pain, see a doctor. Don't wait 5 days like I did, ignoring pain." Having poached Norah O'Donnell from NBC, CBS decided to put its new acquisition to work to revitalize its own morning offering, with O'Donnell replacing Erica Hill to sit alongside veteran PBS interviewer Charlie Rose and Gayle King on CBS This Morning. The news gig was a big honor, but also a big shakeup for her home life, given that O'Donnell's husband and kids lived in Washington, D.C., while her new job required her to be in New York City. While her family eventually relocated to NYC, she initially wound up flying back to DC on the weekends. With all the travel and having to get up early for the morning program, sleep was at a premium for O'Donnell.
My best friend is the snooze button.
Still, she felt the opportunity was worth the personal upheaval, saying in an interview with the Associated Press, "It's not the kind of job you turn down. Morning TV is the crown jewel of broadcast journalism. Where else can you do 2 hours of live television with the audience that we have?" In 2019, amid rumors of friction with co-anchor Gayle King, Page Six reported that O'Donnell had been ousted from CBS This Morning and that King had been behind it. O'Donnell did announce she was leaving the show, not because she was being pushed out, but to take on an even higher profile job with the network, anchor of CBS Evening News. Her new role would also see her become the show's managing editor, as well as anchoring political coverage and serving as a contributor to 60 Minutes.
Be honest, after 7 years on the morning show, did you take this job just so you could sleep in?
That was part of the calculation, yes.
While there were some who felt that the concept of an evening news broadcast in the age of social media and 24-hour news networks had become woefully outdated, O'Donnell has repeatedly insisted that CBS Evening News still had an important role to play in the journalistic landscape. While Donald Trump was president, Norah O'Donnell really got under his skin, thanks to her work on 60 Minutes. On the show, O'Donnell conducted an interview with a whistleblower who claimed he was fired as director of the Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority for his refusal to follow Trump's guidance to promote hydroxychloroquine as a treatment for COVID-19. The furious POTUS responded in a series of tweets accusing the, quote, third-place anchor of propagating fake news, while also suggesting that then CBS chairwoman Sherry Redstone take action by firing O'Donnell and replacing her with another anchor. O'Donnell commented on Trump's fiery tweet storm when she subsequently appeared on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
That goes with the territory of being a journalism. It doesn't bother me if I know we've got our facts straight.
In July 2024, O'Donnell announced she'd no longer be an anchor on CBS Evening News after the upcoming presidential election in November. According to The Hollywood Reporter, she would remain at CBS, but in a new role as special correspondent to conduct interviews that would appear in both the evening newscast and 60 Minutes. O'Donnell shared her thoughts on her impending exit in a memo to CBS News staff, writing, "There's so much work to be proud of, but I have spent 12 years in the anchor chair here at CBS News, connected to a daily broadcast and the rigors of a relentless news cycle. It's time to do something different."